slide, please. The layout of my lecture is that I'm going to cover the Indian distribution sector, and then I'm going to discuss its problem, new act which is going to govern our electricity sector, then the challenges to open Indian distribution sector, the proposed business model which is based on IoT, and then what are the research avenues available in this area. So, growth in the energy consumption, I'll just go show you that what is the growth pattern of energy consumption in middle developed countries and lower developing countries. And this will set a precedent that why it is so important for India to do well in the electricity sector. So, if you see the growth pattern, presently world energy consumption 400 QBTU, the share of the middle developing country is around 270 and lower developing country is around 130 QBTU. But it is projected that by 2050, the world will be having 800 QBTU and the share from the middle developed country will be only 320, but the lower developing country share would be 480 QBTU. This shows that so much share is going to come up from lower developing country or India. So that's why it is very important to do very well. And as far as Indian economy is concerned, we are doing very well. We all have population of around 1.27 billion. We are doing very well in electricity sector. Especially, we are number 3rd in the world as far as electricity is concerned with the production of 370 gigawatt. And we are number 4th in renewable energy in the world. And very, very important thing, which is very, very relevant with the distribution sector is that amongst this 370 gigawatt of total installed capacity, the share of the private player presently is around 46%. This is very, very unique. Please change the slide, Priyanka. Next and next and next. So, next, please. So, we as in India, we really would like to have power to all. And power to all means whatever is the goal of government of India to do well, to go for digital India or go for climate change, make in India, skill India, Swachh Bharat, smart city. For everything, we need a power, a good quality power for 24/7. Also, I would like to mention here, as the transparency is visible, which I like the most, that we are doing very well in the renewable energy, which is going to meet our energy security problem as well as environmental concern, because energy security and the environmental concern are the two major challenges world is facing presently. So we have set a target, which is the world largest renewable energy expansion program, to add 170 gigawatt by 2022. This is the commitment government of India did in the Paris summit. So this is a huge target and we are already able to achieve around 60% of this target. Next, please. So as far as the electricity distribution network is concerned, you can see in the picture, we are really very poor. If you see our generation sector or transmission sector, we are at par with any developed nation. But as far as electricity distribution network is concerned, we are facing a lot of issues. So in the world, actually, 1.4 billion people is without electricity and India accounts for around 300 billion. This is the data by the Indian international agencies. And the most ineffective electricity sector bottleneck is distribution sector in India. So we need to do a lot to improve our distribution sector. And this is the focus of Indian government also, to improve the distribution sector. And you may ask the question that why distribution sector is so important. Because one thing is that is the weakest link in Indian sector, and second is money flows come back to the system through distribution only. So if your distribution is poor, you are not able to your money is not able to go back to transmission sector and the generation sector. And the third issue, which is very pertinent to especially Indian distribution sector, is very high AT&C losses. And this is very, very huge money is involved in this. And we are also losing lot of money, around 100 crore rupees, because of the unbilled electricity. So we need to do lot to make our electricity distribution sector very, very competent and efficient. But you may ask the question that, yes, power theft, Mukesh Sharma ji told, AT&C losses is main component is power theft. So you may ask that how then we are surviving. Interestingly, we are able to survive because these are our, especially all the distribution utility except few are government owned. So they can take loans from the government banks. But this is not correct, because ultimately our whole financial institutions are becoming weak because of this. So we need to take in a lot of measure to improve our distribution sector. So what are the basic bottleneck of the distribution sector? Please change the transparencies. So Kuldeep is writing that tariff also an important concern here. Of course, tariff is very important, as mentioned by Shiv Kumar ji. They have a multiple tariff structure, but we do not have, because we don't have, but we are planning for that. So of course, tariff is playing a very, very important role. So distribution sector bottlenecks are really because it has not been given much emphasis earlier, because the main issue with Indian power sector was demand supply gap. So always government is putting a lot of effort for increasing install capacity and then transferring this through transmission sector. So very small intention for investment in distribution sector. And especially we have unmetered services, we have lot of losses, and we have very skewed type of tariff structure and very less accountability. So there are a lot of challenges with the distribution sector that we need to focus for commercialization orientation of the distribution utility, so that we have best way for metering, billing, and collection. We need to have lot of emphasis for investment in the distribution sector. And recently, Sita Raman, our finance minister, has announced that union territories are going to be privatized. So that is the step they have taken. So money needs to come to the system, and money will come to the system only when our institutions are intact. And people, those who are investing money, have a lot of confidence that they will run their business very efficiently, and there will be very less political interference. So if you see, please change the transparency, which is very, very important, that what are the gap. Next, please. I'm troubling Priyanka a lot.
So, no, ma'am, please carry on. In fact, I can understand how difficult it is.
Yeah, next, please.
Ma'am, meanwhile, can you, because you are the host, can you please mute all the participants from your side?
Okay. Oh.
I can't do it from my side. And participants, I request, please keep your mics muted. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Please carry on.
Next, please. Next slide. So I just wanted to show you that what is lacking. No, earlier one.
This one, ma'am.
I have muted all the participants, but again, then I will mute all.
Keep me muted.
Yes.
Challenges and constraints. You want to go to next slide, ma'am?
No, next.
Next.
Yes.
Gap between average cost?
Yes. This I want to show. So you can see here that there is a gap between average cost and revenue. I have taken this from one report from World Bank, which shows almost all states have a gap between average cost and revenue. So we are generating, we are not able to get back the money as in terms of revenue. So we need to minimize this gap, and which exists in almost all except Delhi. You can see Delhi in this graph, and because you all understand that Delhi is totally privatized, and that's why they don't have any gap between average cost and revenue. But that is the main challenge in distribution sector. Next, please. And if you really compare the our prices globally, then we are really paying very, very less as compared to other countries. So we are paying very less for our electricity prices as compared globally. And as I already mentioned, the main challenge in India is the high AT&C losses. And because of previously that is known as a T&D losses, and now we are calling them as a aggregate technical and revenue loss, AT&C losses, which actually incorporate all the segments of the losses, commercial losses as well. So we are actually losing lot of money in terms of these losses. So I have tried to picture. I will not cover much in detail because I am already late, and so many things. So you can just see that how much money is lost because of this AT&C losses in India. So we need to do something. So presently we are having total distribution utilities around 67. Our average AT&C losses are around 27.37. Please remember that the losses, technical losses, are only around 5%. And Delhi, being privatized distribution utility, is having 9% AT&C losses. But almost all states which are governed by government are reporting the losses in the tune of around more than 20%. So metering, if you call metering status, then around 25 states have achieved 100% metering, especially at 11 kV feeder level. And 15 states have achieved 100% consumer metering. So it's a lot to achieve in terms of metering in India. So our electricity sector is changing. So please change the slide. Next, please. Next. I'm a little bit fast. Okay. No, earlier one. Earlier.
This one, ma'am?
No. Yeah, this. So we are changing. Not only we are changing in India, but everywhere the electricity sector in the world is changing. So how we are changing? We are changing as our present system is heavily relying on fossil fuel, and we are changing because we would like to have more RES, clean coal, and nuclear power in future. We are having generation follows the load. This is the present trend, that generation follows load, and in the future power system we want that load follows generation. So complete 180 change. We are presently having very limited ICT use in electricity sector, but in future we want to have more ICT, more smart technology, and smart meter use, more competition into the electricity sector. So in this sense we are changing, and any change need a stamp from the government. So government of India, to incorporate various changes to produce competitive based structure in Indian power sector, they have introduced long back. It's in 2003 they have introduced one Electricity Act 2003, which is based in market mechanism. And because of this act, we have regulation in place in almost all the states. We have central regulations. We have trading. We have multiple power exchange, not only government power exchange, but we are having, next slide, please. Yeah. So we are having multiple power exchange beside the Indian Power Exchange governed by Indian power sector government, but we are having two a private power exchange also. So we have introduced central traders, state level traders. We have introduced in distribution various licensee. So many new competitive based structure has been introduced in Indian power sector because of this Act, Indian Electricity Act 2003. But still, many things are missing because this act has not talked much about distribution sector, because if you see worldwide they are using the retail electricity market, and in India we are not having retail electricity market. So to enhance the uh, power to provide retail market in Indian electricity sector, one more act has been introduced in India, which is known as a Electricity Amendment Bill 2014. And what is the need for this bill? This bill is going to change the complete focus is on distribution sector. Please change the slide. So in this, next please. So in this Electricity Amendment Bill 2014, we have done the separation of carriage and contain. So we have done separation between distribution and supply function to promote competition in the distribution sector. So that is the basic purpose of introducing the Electricity Amendment Bill 2014. Second main motive behind the Electricity Amendment Bill 2014 is to go for renewable energy promotion, because we all know that how important it is, and this renewable and more integration of distributed energy resources into the system is making whole distribution sector very dynamic. So we need to have laws to incorporate this, and we also need to have very clear guidelines for grid security and stability, because we are becoming more and more dynamic. So these all provisions are in place in Electricity Amendment Bill 2014 to make the distribution sector on the retailing purpose, retailing sense. So please change the slide. So if you see next please, because it is in yes. So our present current industry structure is like that. We are having many generation competition, wholesale electricity market, transmission everywhere is government owned, because we don't want to the big make transmission sector privatized because of many reasons. And distribution, we have many many distribution utility, but not more competition. So the future, next please, the future system under the retail competition will become like this, that we have many flows, flows, physical power flows, financial flows, and open access financial flows. So we are going to introduce one more intermediate company into the system, which can look into the distribution business in the supply side. So separate, we are making two distribution function. One company will look after only the consumer, and the separate as a separate company to look after the consumer and see how the electricity bills are connected and look after the consumer forum. And there is one distribution company which will look after only distribution. So in this way, we are making more and more flexible. So I just would like to give you example. It is not true that in India we don't have any retail market. We are having Bombay on the retail electricity market. There are many companies, and consumer has the choice to choose the distribution utility. So basic purpose for introducing retail electricity market is to make more and more rights to the consumer. So consumer has a right to choose the any company, Reliance, Tata, or Best Company, or any Maharashtra Electricity Board, and as per their convenience, depending on the tariff structure, they can change the operator very often. So this kind of retail electricity market is very successful in Mumbai, but only up to Mumbai. But we need to put this retail electricity market everywhere in India. So actually, if we are changing the retail electricity market, it means that we are giving democracy and choice to people. choice to consumer. So that is the main example. But of course, there are a lot of challenges if we are going for the retail electricity market in India. And I will cover in the next section that what are the main challenges when we are going for this. One thing I just would like to mention here that when we want to introduce digitalization or IoT is a form of digitalization. Digitalization is more common term. So we want to have perfect market mechanism. In the perfect market mechanism, people will put lot of investment to go for digitalization. That's why this act is very, very relevant in India. And this is the time when India is introducing ICT or digitalization in distribution sector or any other sector or in power sector, any segment of power sector. At the same time, in the world also they are trying. So we are not going to buy any technology which is old, 10 years old or 20 years old, and then we are going to copy it in India. But the same time we are developing. So that is a very, very great thing. And I know that our IT sector is a world renowned IT sector, and they are focusing on electricity sector first time, and because there is a market. So first thing to finally have the success in the digitalization or IoT, that we should have a very intact system and intact law and intact competitive market. And this electricity amendment bill is going to play a very, very important role in future. So what we want to do in the distribution sector, we want to make it as a dynamic distribution sector. But when we are making it dynamic, it's very, very crucial to answer the following question: that what are the operating limit to be satisfied? What can be done to operate the distribution sector within the operating limit? What can be done to make the distribution sector more and more efficient? Because our sector is not efficient. So in this way, when we are making it a more dynamic, we are going to introduce smart grid into the sector. And a smart grid is nothing but one way of IoT application or digitalization, which Priyanka has covered very well. So if you see the conventional wisdom in the smart grids, they are developed based on market concept that will implement effectiveness into the system. So, but what are the challenges ahead in India, especially for the smart grid application? There is a strong need and benefit potential for India, or because lot of expertise is there in our country. So we want to please change the slide. Yeah, Priyanka, please change the slide. Yeah, next, please. Yeah. So, no, earlier one. Earlier. Yeah. So we are okay. Fine. Thank you. Next, please. Yeah. So, what role IoT is going to play in the Indian distribution sector? You can see in the slide that IoT is going to impact every segment of distribution sector. It is particularly playing a great role for the power sector reform process, particularly in the area of business process automation, revenue and commercial management, distribution system automation, consumer relationship management, and loss reduction measurement. So you can see in this slide that this IoT application is possible for network analysis, vulnerability, so that it be more perfect and more secure. It will help in the peak load and power quality management. IoT will help for the fault detection, fault management, outage, network data mining and analysis. It will help in a bigger way for network access management. Access management is a very, very important segment of power sector. So this will help access management in a big way. And also it will help us for the self-healing, network fault prevention, or in protection system or related to distribution sector. So this is going to play a very, very important role. So, in this sense, we are moving in the distribution sector towards more on digitalization. And as you all understand, for IoT or for digitalization, the three basic fundamental elements are data, analytics, and connectivity. And we have seen that we have done a tremendous progress in all these three fundamental elements of digitalization. We have done a lot of progress in data and digital information. You can see we are connected through that. We are able to do a lot of analytics, lot of AI, deep learning, machine learning, and so that we can get a data insight and we can have useful information insight from the analytics which we perform in the sector. And of course, connectivity is required because any change in the smart grid, when we want to incorporate consumer and we want to have two-way communication, there is a need of connectivity to exchange data between human and device, including machine to machine through digital communication network. So all, Priyanka, please change the slide. Next. Next, please. Yes. I want to show you anything is important in market is how the company and who is the company who is getting a lot of profit. So you can see that in 2002, the company of energy and others are doing very well. They are the companies which has the worth and a lot of money. But this has changed. In earlier 2002, there is only one IT company or ICT company, Microsoft, which are in the figure. But if you see the progress, then in 2007, we have two companies which belongs to the ICT level, Microsoft, NAT, and T, American company. Then in 2002, there is one more company, Apple, which has grown a lot. And but very interesting to see that the most profitable companies in 2007, all companies belong to ICT. Amazon, Microsoft, Facebook, Apple. So these digital technology companies have become a global leader by market capitalization, through though energy companies still lead in revenue. It is not true that they are not doing well. Energy companies are still leading in revenue, but if you see the market capitalization, then the market lies with the ICT companies. So this will show the trend to you and how we are going to use this digitalization trend in electricity sector. Next slide. So our traditional electricity sector is basically based, if you see in this slide, I hope I'm not very fast and you are able, if you can, yeah. So if you want to ask any question in between, please write. I will respond to the chat box. So our in traditional electricity sector, which rely basically on fuel, you can see that how the fossil fuel is integrated and it is producing electricity, transmission, distribution, generation, and then this electricity which is produced because of the fossil fuel is used for transportation and building and industry. But this is changing. If you see a small data analytics segment, it is introduced in everywhere. It is introduced in fossil fuel industry, it is introduced in electricity sector, and it is introduced everywhere. So with the help of data analytics and use of digitalization, we are changing. So if you see the change, that electricity is now ready to support transport sector in the form of EVs. It is supporting buildings in the form of heating or cooling, and of course electrification, and it is supporting your industry because industry is heavily relying on electricity. So we have changed from fossil fuel to the electricity, and now the electricity is sector is going to improve by data analytics so that their performance will improve and the cost reduction, cost saving is possible. But of course, for this, we need a lot of analytics and connectivity. So this digitalization is changing. Next slide, please. This digitalization role is changing and reshaping the electricity sector. So you can see that connectivity combined with electrification and decentralization, this holds the potential to create a highly interconnected system, transforming the way electricity is supplied and consumed. So you see that there are connectivity in every segment. It is just like a circular flow economy that we all are connected with each other, and all this connection is possible because in the new trend in digitalization. So the game changing role is done in the electrification sector, as we are going to use more and more electrification for transport and heating. We are going more and more on decentralization because we are going more on distributed energy resources like distributed storage, distributed generation, demand flexibility, and energy efficiency. We are going more with the help of digitalization in the grid digitalization or smart metering, smart sensor automation, and we are going with the help of internet of things, and we are going to see how we are consuming electricity and how efficient we are. We have seen in the last day when Shivkumarji has shown his data and it is household that how he is consuming electricity and how he can manage to have less consumption, and he can help in the energy demand side management also for the utilities. So next please, next slides, next please, next, no, one more, back please. Yeah, back,
Four key elements. This is what you want.
Yeah. Okay. I'll explain from you. Actually, these are the four key elements. Worldwide, you can see that this this slide is showing that the four key element, especially electrification, decentralization, and digitalization, what they are going to play an important role. So you can see that worldwide we are changing, demand response is changing, worldwide EV smart charging is changing, and we are doing a lot of progress. And you can see in the variable renewable integration, European Union is doing a lot, and distributed generation and prosumers are going to play a very important role in future. So we are going to critically for electrification because we are going for long term carbon goals, because this will be taken care with the distributed generation, and key technology which are responsible for that is electric vehicle to grid connection, smart charging, and of course decentralization is also part of it, and decentralization in the form of solar PV or renewable energy or distributed storage or microgrid. This is making our demand response more flexible, and all this is possible with the help of digitalization, which will allow open, real time, automated communication and operation of the system. So, various key technology in terms of smart metering, remote control, and automations are going to come up, and this is going to help, especially IoT, in a bigger way in future in the sector. So when we take the element of transformation in distribution sector because of this, then we can see that digital technologies can make it possible to support our in distribution sector in four way. First is it is going to help us in smart demand response. So digital technology are going to help us to make our smart demand response. So it will support in the smart demand response. It will help us to integrate the variable renewable energy sources. So this digital technology is going to help us or support us in the integration of variable renewable energy sources. And then of course, it will help for implementation of smart charging of EVs and especially small scale distributed electricity resources such as solar and small PV. Next, please. Yeah. So, this new technology or digitalization in the power sector, with the help of data and analytics, as I already told you, these are the four fundamental fundamental player: data, analytics, and connectivity. They are going to change everything related to electricity sector. Whether you talk about operation and maintenance cost, or you talk about efficiency, or you talk about the proper preventive maintenance or security, it is going to help in every segment. So digitalization in the power sector has a potential to bring benefits to the owner of the power sector asset as well as wider electricity system, consumer and environment. Next, please. So this you can just see that how much is the potential worldwide with the help of digitalization in electricity network from which is projected from 16 to 14. So almost all the costs in the electricity sector are divided into two categories. One is the capital cost, which include every cost segment, and another is the operational cost. So by this slide, it is clear that by 2040 we are going to get advantage in any segment. So cumulative saving from the wider spread use of digital data and analytics in power plants and electricity network could average around US $80 billion per year. Huge money is involved and huge benefits are going to be involved when you are going for more and more digitalization. But of course, for implementing this, we need to change many things. We need to change completely our market structure. We need to put lot of innovative business model and lot of innovative business strategies into the system. The way we are doing business is not going to help us in future, so we need to change. So we need to change and produce this. So, but what are the different challenges when we are going to change and put this digitalization in distribution sector? Here I am going to talk only about distribution sector because my focus is basically on distribution sector. So we are going to face a lot of challenge in the which I have divided into governance challenges, technical challenges, but I may not be able to cover all of them because of the time constraint. So these governors I have divided that what are the challenges distribution utilities are going to face, and we have done one analysis and we have published one paper in energy policy also for these different challenges which Indian distribution sector is going to face when it is going to implement the digitalization or new IoT technique. In terms of governance challenges, there are a lot of challenges, and what our findings suggest that we need to use a game theory of various transactions to work out objective functions so that we can address the governance challenges which are faced by the distribution utilities in terms of fiscal deficit and debt of state, and avoid that asset devaluation. So we need to put a lot of mathematical. I hope you all understand the game theory, which is optimization tool, which is widely used in electricity sector nowadays, based on the which is proposed by a scientist who got a Nobel Prize. So we have proposed. You can refer my paper. I can send that paper to all of you. So and especially in the distribution sector, we have addressed various issues, challenges in the market sector, and how we are going to overcome that. I may not be able to cover all of them, but based on these challenges, we have proposed a new business model, which I would like to discuss with you. So I am skipping all this. So Priyanka, you have to
Yes,
go very fast for changing many things, because
yes,
I
ma'am.
may not be able to cover all these challenges, technical challenges, economical challenges, governance challenges, which our distribution utilities are facing presently. So, so we have proposed various how to overcome all these challenges by using game theory. So we have published our findings and what are the uh, challenges we need to cover. And especially in IoT sector, the system challenges are many, like how we are going to meet the instrumentation challenges, which is in terms of AMI or AMR, how we are going to meet the communication challenges, which communication strategy is best for distribution sector, and what are the system challenges in terms of IT, like stability, PQ power flow, reactive power flow, and different terminology. So we have proposed in our paper that how to overcome these system challenges and governance challenges and technical and economical challenges in the distribution sector. So we have proposed our findings for meeting these challenges, and based on these findings, we have proposed a new paper in Electricity Policy 2018 for proposing a new business model, which can be used for this new digitalization era. And of course, this because this model is for all the developing countries, but very very relevant for India. So I'll escape all these challenges and their finding. For proposing a new business model, we need to go for multi-sided platform. So please go ahead. I'm not going to cover this. I can share that paper. Yes. So when you want to implement digitalization or IoT finally into the distribution sector, you need to change platform. You cannot go for single-sided platform where only one way the communication flows, power flows, but you need to go for multi-sided platform. So if you have a multi-sided platform, then only you are able to implement the new technology in the distribution sector. So in a multi-sided platform, there are multiple types of buyers and sellers, and they all are interconnected through network. And this may be common cloud network, or this may be a dedicated network. This will depend on the need of the distribution utility. So in this way, the many people can interact with each other. The example which you can relate of the multi-sided platform is a shopping mall. Shopping mall is a one example of multi-sided platform where manufacturers, retailers, and shoppers all are benefits from having a single location where they all can meet and transact business. So these kind of things we are interested to propose in distribution sector. Already, the because of the report of one distribution committee made by the government of India, which has suggested that to improve our distribution sector losses, we need to privatize, and privatize not in a big way like Mumbai and Delhi and Orissa, but we need to propose a privatization in distribution sector in the form of distribution franchisee model. So we are going to sell or give franchisee of our distribution sector. I hope you all are aware of this term distribution franchisee, where we are allowing franchisee a right to come into the electricity sector for 10 to 15 or 20 years and do all the function, all the assigned function of the distribution utility. This committee of Shinglu Committee for Reform has told that in India, at least we should have 300 cities on the distribution model, but of course that has not implemented, and many utilities are reporting this is not a successful model. But if you see the first franchisee model, which is Bhiwandi in Maharashtra, it's very successful. And if you see another franchisee model of Agra, those who belong to Agra, they can understand that how Agra has changed, and the people and consumer are benefited a lot because of the franchisee model. So they are getting electricity. Otherwise, earlier it was 8 hours power cut is very common in the Agra city, but they are not now having no power cut. So I'll not go into the detail, but the franchisee, those who are operating, they have shown a very interesting results, and they have improved a lot, and they have been able to reduce the T&D losses in a big way. So there are many successful studies of the distribution franchisee in India. If you go ahead, I can show you some of the distribution franchisees which are planned in India. Please change next. Next, because I covered hurriedly. Next. Yes, last one. No, before.
This one, ma'am?
Yeah, no. Earlier one.
Okay.
There was India map, upcoming distribution franchisee.
Yes, ma'am.
So this upcoming distribution franchisee, you can see in many parts, especially in Bihar, they are trying very hard. In UP, they are trying very hard. So notification is awaited. So because of the COVID, we are suffering. So all these decision of government is suffering, but they have already done a lot of groundwork for converting that distribution into distribution franchisee. So you can see lot many cities in India is trying to go for this model. But I hope you might be aware, the participants, those who really want to know what is happening in India in terms of smart grid, please visit ISGF, Indian Smart Grid Forum, which is the Ministry of Power company, which is reporting what is happening in India. And there we have published one white paper, because they have different groups. So we have published one white paper that what are the problems of this DF model. So we need to come up more and change this DF model in future, because if we really want to go for more IoT applications, then we need to change our business model. So we have discussed what are the problem, although we are going a long way for DF, but what are the issues which already the cities which they have implemented DF are facing problem. So we have discussed a lot, and that what are the different issues. So those who are really interested for this area, they can individually write to me. I can share various paper with the participants. None in Madhya Pradesh. No, Nikhil Rajak. We are having Sagar in a DF mode in Madhya Pradesh. And we have also planned for Ujjain. Everything was planned. But because of the not very successful model of DF in Sagar, the Gwalior and Ujjain has withdrawn. The companies has withdrawn because the government has changed. But of course, we have, sorry. So what is the way ahead for distribution DF? That what we can do in our distribution sector to go for digitalization. So for this, actually, we have proposed a new business model, which I already mentioned, which is published in 2018 in Energy Policy. So this new distribution business model, which I will show the transparency also. Next. So we have divided the distribution business into three main categories. Next. One is the physical infrastructure unit. Another one is, next please, is the distribution. Yes. distribution management and maintenance unit, and third one is the control operation and revenue management unit. So one distribution business is divided into three business utility units: PI, DMMU, and for the control purpose, CORMU, Control Operational Revenue Management Unit. And there are several functions which comes in between these three inside the physical infrastructure unit and DMMU and CORMU, which we will see later. And all these three are interconnected to each other with multi-sided platform, which I've told you that we need to use multi-sided platform if we want to go for digitalization in the system. So internet is going to play a very important role. We can design a separate internet, or we can design cloud for this operation. So we next please. So what comes under the I'll just briefly cover what comes under the PI, what comes under the PIO. And so in the PIU, physical infrastructure unit, this encompasses total physical entities and components which are needed in the distribution sector, like distribution company, metering company, information company. So these functions which are needed in distribution sector, like metering, information, communication, and regulator. So again, we have made the sub-segment of the physical unit, and we have proposed in this new business model that there should be a separate company for every function. Like for metering as a dedicated task, so why not to have a dedicated company which will look after the not only the manufacture of the meters, but connection of the meters, any problem which are coming under the metering. So everything which comes under the metering will be looked after by a dedicated company, which is known as a metering company. Similarly, when we need an interaction, we need a separate company for information, and we need a separate regulator beside the regulator which is used as a state regulator in every state. And also we need a finance. So for managing the finance, we have proposed a new company which is mainly dedicated for project finance agency. So what we have done, we have sublet all the functions which are needed in a physical infrastructure unit, which are physical component which are needed in a distribution sector, to make a different companies. Similarly, we have proposed in DMMU second segment, we have proposed the feeder franchisee, distribution transmission franchisee for maintenance purpose, and we have proposed a different companies for this special purpose. So I'm just running. So please change the transparency so that you can see. So we have proposed so many things in the separate form for control, operation, and revenue management. We have proposed that there should be a separate company which will manage only revenues. So the revenue management engine is a separate company. There is a distribution system operator which will be look after, which is the brain of the distribution unit, and which will take charge of all the control and operation pertaining to distribution. We have also proposed that there should be a social networking engine, and which will responsible for all the social activities of social representation from the consumers or employees. So there should be a separate company which is known as a social networking company. And the training component is very, very important. So as we are changing, we are going for this is the training program where we are discussing IoT. Similarly, all the distribution company engineers, when they are going to use the different technology, this is very, very important to make their capabilities and capacity enhancement or skill development. So there should be a separate company which can look after the training of the different companies. So next, please. Next. So I just wanted to show that what is the next. You please come to the transparency which is showing all these three interaction. Next.
This is the one.
Yes, this is the one. So this is the proposed. If you see this looks very complicated, right? But anything when we are going for digitalization looks complicated, but it is simple. So we have proposed, as I mentioned, in this new business model, which is based on multi-sided platform, which is going to use Internet of Things for communication purpose. So these three main pillar of the new proposed business model: physical infrastructure unit, control operation and revenue management unit, and distribution management and maintenance unit, which itself has many other subset, are interlinked with each other. They can communicate with each other with multi-sided platform, and this is the beauty. That is the beauty. So we need to change, and this is the proposed model for distribution sector to make our distribution sector more accountable, more efficient, and use the latest technologies, latest IoT or digitalization. By using this, they can improve their performance. So this is already proposed, and I hope somebody will take up this. And there may be some many challenges when we implement this, but this is the task we need to do as an engineer, as a researcher, that we need to put a lot of effort in this direction so that finally we can go ahead for digitalization. There are one question from Divika. Madam, can you combine this with data analytics? Yes, of course. You can combine this. This is all possible because of the data analytics. In the background, you need to run a lot of data, and then only it is possible. Another question is, PFA will decide the cost of electricity to the consumer? Yes, the independent regulator, but right now, this is not the provision, right? Right now, even the privatized utilities, like in Delhi, the regulators are deciding the cost of electricity to the consumer. The private players has a no right to decide their own cost, but regulator will always come into picture. They will justify it because they are the link between consumer, utility, and the government. They will decide based on the expenditure of the distribution company. So of course, this will be decided by the regulator. Even in this proposed new business model, we have proposed an independent regulator for distribution. So the present regulator, which we are having in the state, they are combinedly deciding the cost component for generation, transmission, and distribution. But in our model, we are proposing that we should have an independent regulator for the distribution segment only. So, as in the very first day, the people have proposed that we should talk about what are the research avenues available when we go for IoT or digitalization. Briefly, I will cover this because of the time and because of the today's problem, I may not be able to cover in a brief. But you can go ahead for digitalization and electricity sector in the form of, next please, artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, blockchain application. So everywhere we are using these terms in the power sector. So whatever is our conventional problem, whether load flow problem or forecasting or any other problem or maintenance problem, we are going to do a lot of research by implementing these new digitalization techniques in the conventional problem. And this is the research avenue for new research which are going on and which are going to happen in electricity sector, whether it's in distribution, generation, or transmission. We are already using many of them, like artificial intelligence. We are using for fault detection, for diagnosis of the fault, for alarm processing. We are using artificial intelligence for forecasting and security assessment. Machine learning is also one of the practical tool which we are using in many way. And especially in California, they are using machine learning in a big way. Many companies in California are using machine learning for price forecasting, for consumer segmentation, fault detection, and prevention and maintenance and operation. So there is a huge money which is involved for Internet of Things And it has been projected that presently 2900 companies in America is working for Internet of Things, and they are putting around $73 billion investment in IoT. Again, in the deep learning, there is a lot of research avenues in deep learning, and this is deep learning is nothing but an artificial intelligence function which will imitate the working of the brain. So we all know that how intelligent is our brain is, and we want to process like brain in electricity sector by using deep learning. So this deep learning is again used, we are going to use in future in electricity sector. And for forecasting, already people are proposing, like some of the Brazilian researchers have proposed that this deep learning can be used for energy consumption and customer perspective, and they are using for forecasting, scheduling, and consumption. And another aspect of this deep learning is another aspect is a blockchain application in electricity sector. So this blockchain, I would love to cover all this, but because of the time constraint, I'm not able to cover. But we are proposing a blockchain, which is nothing but an incorruptible digital ledger for economic transaction that we want to use in electricity sector. So already people are proposing that how we can enhance the especially EV charging by using blockchain, by various services which are going to be used in distribution sector like billing, supplying, switching as an integrated service in the form of blockchain in the as a energy service in future. Especially this we are going to use in a bigger way in peer-to-peer energy trading model, which is very, very important when we are going to have many players in the distribution sector. And especially when we want to use the Internet of Things for smart home appliances, we need to have a peer-to-peer energy trading for various market mechanism. This will help us. So Priyanka, can you briefly go ahead, so that I can just finish by just showing them that how flexible energy market ecosystem is going to happen in future. Next.
This one, ma'am, on the figure. The elements of blockchain.
No. Please go ahead, because this I'll not cover. Yes, go ahead. I just want to know.
Energy system.
No,
Ma'am,
before
this is energy system.
no. Before that, yes, this one. So you can see here that we are going to have new flexible energy market ecosystem, which will be covering your machine learning, data analysis, peer-to-peer energy trading, Internet of Things, which are linked with all other energy storage and innovative tariff structure. So there is a lot of scope. So in fact, a lot of computer engineers who are attending our program, I request them, please choose for your research problem. You are going to implement all this Internet of Things. Please choose electricity problem, because there is a huge market for solving the electricity issues. So you can choose your computer programming or any other thing and solve the problems which are pertaining to the electricity sector, and which we can foresee that once the digitalization will come into the electricity sector, we need to change all our conventional problems into new mode. So there is a lot of research avenues possible in electricity sector presently. So there is a lot of scope. Madam, someone is asking that your suggestion is a new scope. Yes, lot of scope exists in the electricity sector, because when we are going for new energy ecosystem for based on all these technology. Next slide, please. So I'll just show the future energy system, which incorporate everything which I have discussed very hurriedly, very fast in my presentation. I know I am not able to justify that, but sorry. So conclusion is that, because next speaker is there, that there is a lot of opportunity in the this sector, digital technology in electricity sector. There are a lot of opportunities for all participants in the future of electricity is unprecedented and it is full of digital promise. And all this is because there is a lot of money involved. Around $1.3 trillion of value is captured globally from 2016 to 2025 as per the prediction by the World Economic Forum. So I will not. I'll stop here because there is no new speaker is going to come. So there is a digital storm which is going to come up. A change, please, Priyanka. And this is changing energy. Next. This was just to show you that with the help of IoT, how we are going to improve. So I just wanted to say that digital storm is coming and it is changing the energy and utility landscape. And we have very dynamic prime minister who has set up a goal for providing power to all, to everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you. There was one question from Suresh Kothari. But can I take the question because I don't know because I'm going to because new speaker is going to come up.
Ma'am, I think we can take. I think, ma'am, we can take few questions.
Okay.
And
okay. I will take.
We have this. This is the break time which is going on. We can.
Okay. Switch the break. We cannot have break then.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Amrita is writing, it's really impressive to know application of deep learning in electricity sector. Yes, there are many applications pertaining to deep learning. There are a lot of scope which I have already discussed. What is the scope of power grid in renewable energy, especially in biogas electricity plant? Yes, because we are going in a massive way. Because as I told you, fundamentally, we are going for decentralization. And decentralization means we are going to have more and more DER penetration into the grid. This is opening a lot of scope and lot of challenges for integration. So, yes, there are a lot of scope for renewable energy in the power grid, but with lot of challenges of integration. So there are a lot of research work which is going on to how to mitigate these challenges in the integration of renewable energy. Yes, you can any form of renewable energy, whether biogas or solar PV is possible. Presentation, of course, I don't know this because this was so big, so that's why my end I don't know what
we'll be sharing it on YouTube and anyways. Yeah. So participants, whosoever wants to access it, they can access it from there.
Thank you. Yes, teamwork is very important, and Priyanka is my pillar of support. Because
ma'am, you have been, I mean, like, I would like to thank you. And despite of all these difficulties, you have pulled up the presentation so well, and it was such an informative lecture. And we can see that you have covered the entire range, especially the research avenues were very beneficial. And I'm sure that our participants can take up, especially the computer science people, they will find a lot of scope in the electricity sector, because this is something which really needs modernization. So yes. Your lecture has definitely shown, has definitely given them an insight into all this, ma'am. And it was difficult, but you have given a very, I mean, like, it was a very good presentation, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Priyanka.
Next speaker, Pankaj Gupta sir is also here.
Yeah, one more question, Pankaj, before going. In the future, IoTs and EVs come as a huge load in the grid. How distribution sector is planning? Yes. This is going to come up in a big way, and distribution sector has to do a lot of planning. And by using all these terminologies, new jargons, we have to do a lot of research in the distribution sector, because it is going to become very, very dynamic with the integration of PV and DER. One more, but implementation, there is a distribution system is going to be very difficult, as our description. Distribution infrastructure is in a very poor shape. Yes. So that's why the government of India is putting a lot of money in the form of APDRP into the distribution sector to make it its infrastructure sound. If their infrastructure is sound, then only it is possible. So if there is a lack of money, that's why we want to open this distribution sector to the private player, so that lot of money can be pumped. That's why recently the finance ministry has taken a decision to implement the privatization in the union territory. So we will see the example how they have worked. We have a very successful privatization story of distribution sector in Delhi. They are fully using all modern technique, and they are having very new modern infrastructure, good modern infrastructure, and can be comparable with any other developed nation. But because they are privatized, they have a money, they are doing it. So we need to change this concept that privatization is a dirty term, right? So I think I may not be able to take all yes questions. I'll take it
So
later.
if they have any queries, participants, if you have any queries, you can always write to Trapta ma'am, and I'm sure that she will be happy to address your concerns. So you can please mail it to her, and whatever doubts you have, you can clarify from her.
Yeah, thank you very much for the patience hearing for all
Thank
of
you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yeah, my another participant. So sorry, we are not going to give you any break. Only lunch break today. So Pankaj, can you able to hear us?
Yes, I am very well able to hear. Am I audible?
Yes, you are very much audible. Welcome, Pankaj, to this.
Good morning, Pankaj ji.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Tripta, and thanks, Priyanka. So, should I be sharing the presentation first on the icon?
Please, yes, please share, because today I face a lot of problem.